What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Matt, and this is Take Back Your Health podcast, where we talk about all things health and ways to help you be the best version of you. Hey everybody, this is Dr. Matt, and this is Take Back Your Health podcast, and I'm here with a special guest, Miss Blakely DuBose. Bose, right? DuBose?
DuBose.
DuBose, not Dubois. Right?
Don't French it up. Keep it Southern.
You are from Alabama.
True.
So you are a certified health coach, correct?
Yes, correct.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, what practice you're with, because you own your own practice, obviously.
Yep.
Starting in September, I think you said you'll be taking clients, correct?
Yes. So I started my health coaching. I got my certification back in 2021 when we lived in Georgia. And then I opened my practice in Maryland because we went right after I got my certification. We ended up getting the call that we were moving. Moved up there. That was fun. But opened it up without knowing a soul and enjoyed it. I practiced there for about a year and a half, and then we decided we were moving south and came down here. So closed it up there and never fully reopened here because I got 4 kids and life was just busy, and I'm ready to get it back up and going. So I'm going to open up the Simply Well Co. here in Hickory in September.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about breaking bad habits. Since obviously habits are a huge part of people's health and success and pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
So kind of tell, like, first of all, what kind of got you into this?
So
Health coaching, that is.
Yes. Long story short, it all started with my first pregnancy back in 2015 when I started noticing how many products I was told I wasn't allowed to use while pregnant. It was like, may cause death.
Yeah.
Don't do this while pregnant. And I'm like, well, that seems strange. And that's where the red flag started. And I started with cleaning products and doing better there and doing like the lifestyle changes for chemicals and toxins. And that just, once you get into it, it's like a domino effect, and you just start digging into health and wellness. And then you just realize people just don't know the basics. If they knew it, they would want to change. But it's just, life is busy and we like convenience here. And
Isn't it scary to know how unhealthy everything is and how we've kind of become so numb to basically looking at the back of a cereal box and can't read probably 45 of the different ingredients that are in there.
Right. But we don't know to be aware of all of that. We think it's on the shelf, then it's good for us because why would it be on the shelf if it wasn't?
Oh, exactly. Cheap and convenient are not always healthy. That's
Correct.
what I tell people. Now, we can talk all day, I'm sure, about habits and stuff, but what are some of the biggest things that you usually see with clients or with habits and stuff like that?
It's small habits. A lot of people, it's like, well, I want this big goal change. A lot of times it's weight loss or it's getting up earlier and being more productive. And they don't realize that all their micro habits, which they don't look at as habits, they're more of just your routine. Your unconscious movement in your day is your habits. And if you aren't looking at those small little things you're doing throughout the day, you're not going to be able to create this big change, like lose weight. You've got to look at what you're doing every single day and address those micro habits, because it's not about the goal, it's about the system that gets you to the goal. So I always tell people, like, you want to set a goal. Goals are great. That's what drives you. That's what
keep you on track. Yep.
Exactly. You don't want to be a couch potato. But you need to change the system to get to that goal.
Exactly.
You can't just have the goal and be like, well, I'm just waiting to get happy when I reach this goal, because you're not going to get there. But if you correct the systems and how you get to that point, you'll get to that goal. But it is slow and it is a process.
And it's a consistency.
Yes.
That's why I tell patients in my office, especially because chiropractic is just like, any other healthy lifestyle. You have to, one, make it a priority, because you're not going to get benefits if you just do it when you want to.
Right.
It's like brushing your teeth when you want to. You're not going to prevent cavities. But it's a goal, like you say, but you have to work toward it. It has to be something that you want to do. But as far as habits go, it's not always about losing weight, eating healthy. Sometimes, like you say, just, I want to be able to get more sleep. I want to be able to have more free time. Anything can be a habit. It's just trying to find ways to break them. And we'll get into that. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But what are, I guess I should say, some of the big things that you see people struggling with? Probably weight loss is a big one.
Weight loss is a big one, and it's a hard one because people want quick results, and we live in such a world of like, we just need everything so fast.
I know.
And it's like, well, if you want to get to the root cause and really keep that change, you're going to have to go through the system. You're going to have to take time, and people don't.
You can't take a shot in your stomach and expect to lose weight.
Right. You might real quickly
Yep.
for some people, but it's not going to stay. That's not changing your lifestyle.
It's exactly. We're looking for long term, not quick.
Right.
Most people want quick because they're either trying to fit in a dress or a bikini or trying to look good for a photo or whatever, but they're not looking at, well, what is my next 15 years going to look like?
Right.
Am I going to be able to play with my grandkids? Am I going to be able to get up and off the toilet?
Right.
Things that you don't think would be hard to do, but when you get to be old and you let yourself go, I see it every day. 30-year-olds with chronic headaches and they don't know why they're having headaches. I'm like, well, you're not drinking water. You're not relaxing. You're not sleeping. I mean, things like that add up.
You're 100 miles per hour all day long. Yes.
Yeah, preaching to the choir right there.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but not all habits are bad. Let's
Correct.
say that. Obviously, we have good habits. We have bad habits. Your habits shape who you are. You said that. That's why I love to hear that. But what are, okay, let's just start there. What are some examples of good habits versus bad habits that you kind of deal with clients?
Good habits would be rising with the sun, quieting down with the sun. That's a great
Quiet
habit.
time.
Quiet time. As it's getting darker in the day, quieting your brain, getting off of all the screens.
That's a big one.
The biggest bad habit is the screens. And
know.
people don't even think about it. And
Yep.
it gets to the point where it's like they're numbing them. They don't even realize they're numbing the boredom. It's like they pick up the phone because they don't want to be bored.
Exactly. I know. I find myself in the same boat.
Oh, every single day.
You get home at a reasonable hour, you get in bed, you don't have the TV on, and sometimes I'm just sitting there scrolling on the phone just because I'm bored, I don't have anything to do.
Right.
So instead of doing something more, I guess, easier for your brain, like reading or meditating or whatever you want to do, we're scrolling on the phone, and next thing you know, 3 hours have gone by, and it's 10:30 at night, and we're so kind of wound up because we just looked at all this content, whatever, and now we can't go to sleep.
Right.
And then you're waking up 2 or 3 times a night. Because the blue light, in phones actually suppress melatonin.
Yes.
Anyway, but when you're increasing all that stuff into your brain, your anxiety is going to be up, your depression is going to be up, your ADHD is going to be on overload. So yeah, I mean, phones. Yeah.
Yeah, phones are a big issue. One of the
Screens
big things I always tell people is like, if that is such a bad habit, when you pick up your phone, get outside and go walk. Walk with your phone.
Exactly. Oh, people don't know how to go outside anymore.
No. And we need it. And we're so told to like stay out of the sun.
Vitamin D deficiency is huge.
It is.
Around here, and it only takes 15 minutes in the sun.
That's it.
Vitamin D absorption.
Do you know where you absorb the most vitamin D?
Skin.
Eyes.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Your skin, 100%.
Your skin,
but your
yes.
eyes
Really
absorb
I didn't know
the
that.
most vitamin D. And so we're all in sunglasses. I'm like, take your sunglasses
Really?
off for 10 minutes.
I did
Yes.
not know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know. So now
would
I
think
don't wear
sunlight-
sunglasses
well,
often.
You think that the sunlight obviously is bad for your eyes. Don't sit there and stare at the sun like a
don't do that.
like a dummy. But
Just be under the shade with no glasses.
Blakely said I could stare at the sun and get vitamin D. No, yeah. So as far as good habits and the bad habits, yes, there's hundreds of them. I mean, obviously drinking, smoking, social media overload, all that. The good habits, eating healthy, drinking more water, getting plenty of sleep. We can go on and on and on. But as far as habits go, how long does it take to create a habit, and how long does it take usually to break a habit in your experience that you have found?
So it depends, because it depends on the person and the drive. And in my practice, and probably the same as yours, people come to me when they're desperate.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And so
And then they want the quick result.
the quick
right?
result,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm hurting, fix me.
Right. Right. And it's like, it just doesn't happen.
But sometimes it takes that.
It does. It does. One analogy that I use all the time is like, if you live in clutter all the time,
Like as in like in your house?
like in your
a
house.
hoarder? Okay.
Yes. Like that is going to cause stress, anxiety, so many things. So that's another part of my practice is like, educating people on decluttering. But it's like if you break the habit of throwing the shirt on the chair, put it on a hanger instead of throwing it on the chair, you want to clean up the system. Like you have people that's like, I get this burst of energy, I'm going to declutter and my house is going to be perfectly clean. It's going to be great. And it's wonderful because you have that burst of energy. But then in a week, you're back to exactly where you were because you didn't clean up the system to get to that point. Now you're going to wait for another burst of energy to declutter your house. And I think I kind of veered off of your question.
No, that's a good example. I mean, it doesn't have to be that, but it could be really anything. Like going to bed at a reasonable hour. I struggle myself going to bed early. I'd like to get to bed. Well, the thing is, I'm usually in bed by 8, 9 o'clock, but I'm usually not going to sleep until 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing between that? Probably scrolling your phone, thinking about what you're going to do, following up on emails you forgot to follow up.
Right.
Things of a small business owner, obviously, but it's like, it's easy to fall out of that routine, just like working out. People that work out religiously like you do, if you miss a day, it messes you up because
it does.
You feel like you're out of your routine. And then doing that consistently, things start to kind of fall apart.
Right. And you've got people, speaking of like the people that are in the gym all the time, you've got people that are like, well, I just don't have that willpower. I just don't have that strength.
The
I'm
motivation.
Like, yes. And it's like, that doesn't have to be there. Because the things that you're telling yourself is part of your habits. If you sit there and you tell yourself every single day, I'm not good at this. I'm not a morning person. That's a great one. I hear so many people say, oh, I'm not a morning person. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop telling yourself that. Wake up every morning and say, I'm a morning person. And see what that habit does to you. Because it's amazing.
Yeah.
And people don't realize a 1% change in your day. If you look at that in a year, you've changed by 37%. So small. It's hard because people want that instant change, but it's like just one little thing. I promise it's a domino effect. Once you get really good at that tiny shift, if it's drinking a cup of water in the morning, as soon as you wake up,
that's a big one too.
Drink a cup, chug it.
Go for that coffee or Red Bull or whatever else, the energy drink that they go for versus water.
I know. And I'm like, you know what? Take that, but do your water first and see how you feel.
True. Yeah.
And they'll slowly, sometimes, shift away from the coffee because the water will give you energy.
Well, the water wakes everything up,
right?
Versus like shocking you awake like the caffeine does.
Exactly.
The water, yeah, exactly.
You don't have any of the caffeine crash from your water.
And that's another thing is like people go for that because they need that instant alertness, and then like a couple 3 hours later they're crashing and they're reaching for something else. The same thing with sugar,
right?
I mean, sugar's another huge one. And I've heard, I don't know if it's correct, but I heard it takes 7 days to break a bad habit.
So
or 14. It's one of those.
Science technically says 21 days. 21 to 66 days is what science will say it takes someone to break a bad habit.
I heard somewhere it said 7 days. If you did something 7 days on repeat, it would it becomes routine.
It can become routine, but to have it stick, it's the 3 weeks, 21 days.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's a good point. There's a difference between having it stick,
creating it and having it stick.
Exactly, because you can do it. You can go to the gym for a week, but then if you don't continue to do it, you're going to fall out of it.
Right.
And that's where people get into the lack of motivation that I hear a lot of people doing.
Exactly.
Because they're like, oh, well, I don't have time. And that's another big one.
Oh, that's huge.
I don't have time. True, their time is limited. There's only 24 hours in a day, and a lot of those, hopefully, you're sleeping because you do need a lot more sleep than we usually get.
Yep.
But I find that people spend the time on the things that they prioritize.
100%.
If you don't have time to do certain whatever, it's because you don't value that.
Right.
Whatever.
Yes.
Not to use working out, going to a chiropractor, whatever. If you say you don't have time to go to the gym, but you have time to go to Starbucks and get whatever, that tells you right there what you prioritize.
I love getting my clients to track their entire day. I want to know when you go to the bathroom. I want to know when you picked up your phone and how long you picked it up. And then we will go through it and we'll be like, okay, well, you were on your phone for 2 hours here. You were on your phone for 10 minutes here. You add it up in the day.
The screen time is scary when you look at it.
It is. Well, it is terrifying. I have the little
no way
tracker.
I was on my phone for 12 hours today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
It is so crazy. And when people actually map it out and they see it, they're like, well, dang, I do have time in the day. I'm like, you do. You just have to, like you said, you have to make it a priority. And that's where you will find people's priorities is where they spend their time.
Exactly. So what are some, I guess, ways, strategies that you try to help clients develop those good habits as far as like overcoming that I don't have time, I'm not motivated, et cetera, et cetera?
We start out with mapping out that day. And then you want to habit stack. You want to stack it onto something you're already doing. You don't want to just cold turkey stop doing. You can't just put down your phone.
No, of course
That's
not.
not going to work.
We live by these things. We have to have them, unfortunately, but we can limit our exposure. We don't have to scroll endlessly on Instagram or Facebook.
Right. Make everything very small. So like a really great one is when you brush your teeth, have your supplements. If you're taking any kind of supplements, have them right there by your toothbrush or by your coffee machine if you're a coffee drinker. Because our vision, vision is like our highest cue sense. And so if things are out in the open for us, we're going to notice them. We're going to do them more. So you want to eliminate the hard things that are your bad habits. If you're a big TV watcher, people think this is crazy, but I'm like, pick up your TV, unplug it, take that power cord out and go put the power cord upstairs. Or go put it out in your car.
You actually have to physically go get it to turn it on. Yeah,
yes.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Make your bad habits hard.
That's what that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, it helps. And
That's
then
genius.
the things that you're Why, thank you.
Because you're not going to want to do it.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, no, I don't want to. No, it's like, I don't want to go upstairs and go plug that thing in and have to do that just to do that. So I'm not going to do it. Yeah, that's actually.
Exactly. And then it makes you aware of that habit and you'll go do something else. Make the bad stuff hard. Make your new shifts easy. Don't go big. Get outside for 2 minutes. I don't care how long it is. And just stack on that.
I tell people that sit behind a desk all day, and that's a good bit of people because a lot of people work from home, et cetera, et cetera. Walking or just getting up and doing a couple laps, that is going to benefit you more than obviously sitting for a long period of time.
Oh, yeah. Take the
taking
stairs.
The stair. Yeah, exactly. We're on the same wavelength.
Yes, we are.
I have an elevator in my office, and I'll admit sometimes you like to go to the elevator and you go the stairs down, but sometimes I like to do the reverse, to go up, just to get that extra bit of heart rate going up.
Absolutely.
Because, I forgot, I didn't write it down, but because for the month of June, we're talking about movement is medicine and everything. And I think it had said every 10 steps that you go up, I think that's like 1 calorie, 2 calories that you burn, something like that. So
sounds about right.
Think about that as how many steps you have to go up just to burn like 10 calories. It's 100 steps.
Yeah. But just do the little bit. If you're only on
we're
the second floor,
exactly.
We're micro baby steps.
That's what I was getting for. Yeah, because there's another statistic I saw that you have to walk the entire length of a football field to burn off 1 M&M candy, and
that should be posted on people's walls.
I'm like, so people that sit there and eat a whole bag, and like, how many football fields you're gonna have to walk to burn those off?
I'm gonna keep that one.
I have that written down somewhere in my take a walk. I think it's under my health habits. But
peanut M&Ms are my weakness sometimes.
Yeah, we all have our vices, but no, yeah, it's as far as habits go, and we can get into all the psychology of it here as we get close to wrapping up, but there's a lot with habits go. There's a lot of deeper meanings, I think, that kind of the reason we get into the habits we do. Because people, obviously, we develop habits usually due to convenience and stress and yada, yada, yada. But then there's also a lot of deeper meanings behind a lot of the habits that we find ourselves. Like hoarding is a good example. My dad he's not really a hoarder, but he's his mother was a bad hoarder. So he's kind of got that ingrained theology to where I can't let that go because I might need that. You don't need 3 blenders. You don't need 2 toasters. But if you get rid of it, I might need it. So it's like those kind of habits are harder to break because they're more ingrained in our self. Because there's a lot of generational genetic component to that. So how do you deal with clients that have those type of mentalities and habits versus just I don't have time to go to the gym or.
Slow and gently. The hoarding is a great example. I've had a client that was a hoarder, and it is usually an emotional tie.
Of course.
And it is a generational thing. They're not the first to be that way. And teaching them to put stuff away. Okay, we're not getting rid of it. Let's make our sections. We're going to get rid of some of this stuff and this stuff, but we're going to keep 90% of your stuff. We're just going to put it in boxes. We're going to, this is a kitchen box. This is a bathroom box. This is a bedroom box. And if you don't touch that box for 6 months, we get to take it out, and you don't even need to look and see what's in it. You didn't need it. Some of my clients are like, oh, I need longer than that, because like if I need it at Christmas and you're making me box it in February, I'm like, okay, 12 months. Let's box some stuff up, put it in the garage, let it sit for 12 months. If we don't touch it, I'm just going to take it out. You don't need it. And that slow, delicate works. I mean, there's still a lot of emotion there, especially once you hit that 12-month mark. But they realize, like, you're right. I did not touch that. I didn't need anything in it. It just, there's a lot of hand holding in coaching, but that's a lot of what I am.
Of course.
I'm just your cheerleader. I'm just your support system. You have to make the change. You have to be the one that wants it. But once you get that in your mind, it's like going to the chiropractor as well. Once you have reached the bottom point and you want help, you'll get there.
Same thing with finances. I mean, when you're in debt, you're trying to tackle a debt monsters. It seems daunting and overwhelming. I'm never going to be able to do this. And then you start taking steps to do little by little and changing, like, either spending habits. Spending habits is another big one. Probably we shouldn't even touch on, which is a surprise because that's most of everybody's problem.
Yes.
But when you're changing those to I don't need it versus I want it kind of thing, the need-want mentality is like, do I want this or do I need this? Mm-hmm. That's another good one.
That is a great one.
I'm sure you deal with a lot of that too.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's going back to the cluttering thing. The average American spends 1 year of their life looking for a misplaced item at home.
I believe that.
So, yeah, and I think it's also said like 50% of garages are the most disorganized place that people.
I can't stand a garage, and they are.
They are. I know. It's what's so bad. It's like most people have these indoor garages or like the detached garage or whatever, and they don't even park their car in it because it's got so much crap in there. And it's, I know. We're the same way. My parents are the same way. So it's just funny. But yeah, the whole spending habits is another huge habit that most people.
Huge. People don't even know it's a habit.
No, well, it all goes back to the instant gratification.
Yes.
You know, the people that when they're bored, what do? They scroll on Amazon, they scroll on social media.
Yep.
And what are they going to do? I'm going to buy this because it's going to make me happy for a little bit.
And it was only $20.
It's on sale.
But it was only $20 6 times today.
I know. But the companies see that and they know that. That's like Amazon Prime Day and all that because they're like, oh, I got to go check. Oh, I don't need that, but it's on sale, so I'm going to buy that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, say we could go on and on and on about about habits and the how people deal with all that. But do you have any final thoughts, any final advice for people that are trying to look at how to break habits? Kind of, I don't know where to start. I know I do this. I want to start doing this, but I don't know what to do or how to begin that.
Hold yourself accountable. Write it down, journal, map out your routine, and look.
Accountability is a big thing because nobody wants to be accountable.
No. And that's why I can be your best friend or your worst enemy, but you still love me.
That she can, folks. That she can. No.
It doesn't happen overnight, but change does happen daily. So if you just take those baby steps and you're patient with yourself, you'll get there.
Giving yourself grace.
So much of it.
You're not going to get it done in a day.
Yep.
Like, for example, you have a client that wants to quit smoking. Smoking is not an easy thing to give up. For a non-smoker, it seems like it's easy. Oh,
right.
Yeah. Why are you smoking? Get rid of that.
Right.
But somebody that smoked for 20 years plus, they can't just stop.
Mm-hmm. And their body can't handle that either.
Their body can't handle that either. No, you've developed these nicotine receptors and then you deprive it. That's when you go into shock.
Right.
Alcoholic, same way. I mean, we can go on and on and on about the big habits.
Oh, yeah.
But because that's why your body, and you agree with this, and I agree with this with my patients, your body does not like drastic change. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's in your health, in your financing, in your mental health, your physical health, spiritual. You can't do it drastically like that because you will have relapses, you will have fallouts.
Yeah.
and there's a lot of chemical imbalances that go along with that, mental. Were you about to say something? Oh, okay.
No.
You were looking at your paper there.
No, I was just seeing if I missed anything. Make sure I didn't
if
have
you missed
any.
anything, let us know before we wrap up here. But I just wanted to make sure that, like, for people know you can't just make the change overnight, but you can make the decision overnight to make the change.
Correct.
But then you start this new journey that you have to go on, and you have to have somebody like yourself that's there to hold your hand, to know that you're not alone, that of course you're going to fail several times, but it's getting back up and keep going is what gets you to the finish line.
That's what matters, is getting back up.
Versus like, because running a marathon, same theology. You can't train 1 week to go run a marathon. You probably could, because you're the Energizer Bunny. But anyway, so if a patient or a client was wanting to reach out to you to talk about how to start, where to start, how would they get a hold? What was the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way right now will probably be Instagram. So my Instagram is purely Blakely. That's gonna be the best way to find me right now. We've the Simply Well Co is also on Instagram, but to get in touch with me, I'd go purely Blakely.
Gotcha. And you do any kind of habit or really lifestyle?
Lifestyle. So I help with your basic nutrition, but my big focuses are creating healthy habits, managing stress. I'm not a big encourager of eliminating stress. I like to teach people to manage it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't eliminate it, but you can manage it.
Yes.
Because you're never going to escape stress. You just got to have to know how to deal with it.
Right. So that's another big topic that I focus on.
Awesome. And you'll start taking clients in the next couple months.
Yes, starting in September.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
Absolutely. If you'd like to learn more about what you just heard, or if you're interested in scheduling an appointment to see how chiropractic can help you, visit our website at newdirectionschiropractic-nc.com. Be sure to follow our social media page for more information on how to be a better you. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.